What's going on, people? Episode number 230 of Wassup, Flobo. You know what the show's about. YouTube.com/Flobo Voice. This comes out every Wednesday, even though I try to record these on Tuesdays to get my vocal cords warmed up now for the Macmania podcast. In fact, this episode is about that, or more specifically, how that show got us out to Nashville this past week. Before I do that, gotta say, as always, thank you so much for checking out all these episodes. I know there's a lot of them now, 230 of those, and it's no joke. But I want to say, without your support, this wouldn't be a possibility. So pick up a t-shirt at flobito.threadless.com. Get yourself all suited and booted for the fall, I guess. I mean, it is August. We'll get to that as well. And if you want to throw something in the tip jar, buymeacoffee.com/FloboBoys. Content is a thing that I love to do, and there's new ideas coming down the pipe. But to make that happen, I need your help. And patreon.com/FloboBoys. We call it the Boisterous Crew. I mean, we had some really cool stuff this month. We had 2 editions of Flobo Tries, Flobito's Book Club makes a return, and of course, the bonus stand-up special only edition of Flobo saw on Netflix, all available at patreon.com/Flobo Boys. That's FLOBOBOYC. All right. So as I record this, I'm back from Nashville. The past couple of days, I was with the Macmania team. Evan and I went representing Macmania podcast. If you haven't checked that out, it is a Spotify original presented by The Ringer. We're one of 3 shows of the Ringer Wrestler Network. So they got the Ringer Wrestler Network in whole. We're the official podcast partner of WWE and SummerSlam, and so we got a chance to sit and chat and interview some professional wrestlers. Myself personally, I got a chance to interview The Miz and Theory. That was so much fun for 2 reasons. One, I was pretty much neutral on Theory. Not saying I hated him or loved him. He was kind of like, oh, the new class. But just hearing how much he dedicated his life to the craft, the professional wrestling, like I'm a fan now. And The Miz. The Miz is somebody that I was a fan of for a long time. But I think now people are starting to come around to him, and that's always cool to see. So to be able to ask serious questions and silly questions at the same time, like I asked Miz the question about the Marine Six, and I truly believe he didn't think I watched all the Marine movies, but I'm a wrestling journalist. I make sure that I do. Or even asking Theory. I mean, you're 24 years old and you're being thrust out to the spotlight. I know when I was 24 years old, I was still in school. I was still in school thinking what I'm going to do when I get out of school, in film school, more specifically, because I think people can listen to that by 24 and still in school. What the hell you're doing? I was in grad school at the time. But it was kind of interesting to see that, like I said before, he wanted to be a wrestler when he was 8 years old and did what he could and dedicated his life to doing that. I mean, I commend the heck out of that because he got to be in the top circuit in the country or the world, and be featured. I mean, people know who he is, and that's pretty cool. Nashville, Tennessee, second time in Tennessee. I've been to Memphis back in 2017. It is just as humid, just as sticky. I get why people say it's Nash Vegas. Broadway is its own little strip with restaurants and bars and live music going. It could be a bit much. It could be cool. I've had slivers of both. People say, would I go back to Nashville? Oh, or people ask me, and I go, I would. I'm not sure if I'll go in July or August because 1, it was that hot, and 2, it was bona fide bachelorette party season. So many groups of women wearing cowboy boots and hats are from out of town. It is really surreal. Like, I guess if I was from Nashville, I'd be kind of offended. Like the people who fly into New York wear like pretzel hats or something like that. I would be like, hey, what are you doing? But it was what I thought it would be when people go, hey, we're going to the bachelorette party the bachelorette party capital of the world. There you go. As you can tell, it's early. But it was fun to see that town. It's a happening town. So many times I felt like recently I would go to cities and I'll go, oh, I guess this is kind of cool. Maybe I'm just a little tired of cities, but Nashville has its own flavor, has its own vibe. A bit too uh, uh, loosey-goosey with COVID protections. I think COVID is pretty much done over there. It's the virus is basically stopped around the city of Nashville and went elsewhere because no one's concerned about it. No one cares about it. My thing was, when you're in Rome, do the Romans do, as far as me being inside and talking to people. But I definitely wore my mask during the crowd walking scene because it just makes probable sense, right? Say when I go to baseball games and I'm in my seat, it's like, okay, maybe I could take the mask off. But if I'm online and there's literally 1,000 people around me, I think just by probability, and that's colds, flus too, as well. I'm not just saying just the coronavirus, but that's something I'm still adjusting with. I'll be the first one to admit this. This network, this show came from majority of it. I mean, some came before, but the majority of it came from being inside, being surrounded by no one. And the more I go out, the more I travel, the more I'm doing these bookings. That's a blessing because your boy likes to get paid. Your boy likes to eat. I'm just seeing different people just interpret it differently. Maybe I'll be the last person in the country with a fresh box of masks at the crib, but that's okay. I remember when I flight in there, I flew American, which, if you guys know me, I boycott American, but the company paid for it this time. In economy, I wasn't balling or anything. I was in the back of the plane. There was like, hey, look, masks are optional, but please respect your neighbor's wishes. And I was like, wow, that's the best way to describe what's going on with that. But not to make this yet another COVID edition of What's Up, Flobo. I just want to say that the Nashville thing is really cool. The event, SummerSlam, was fun. It was really cool to be a part of. SummerSlam is my favorite event of the year as a wrestling fan, even more so than WrestleMania. So to be there, another one is great. And I'm looking over there at my pin board. I'm starting to have a little bit of a collection of SummerSlam memorabilia, SummerSlam pins. I think I'm becoming a WWE event enamel pin collector guy, which is awesome. Being in the Talent Hotel was an experience because on some level, I am talent as well. Actually, on the literal level, I'm talent as well. And some people knew who I was, and some of the other podcasters that WWE has a relationship with outside, like BT Sport or Fox, were there. Ryan Satin, Ariel Helwani. Not to name drop, it's just to say, we're giving high fives and we're giving daps and we're all part of this thing together. But it's also cool that some talent doesn't know who you are because WWE is that big of an organization, and being stopped by security on the talent floor, because I was on the floor of the talent. Didn't see anybody on my floor. I'm not hanging out, but I got on the floor and there was a security guard being like, "Sir, what are you here for?" I'm like, "The event." Like, "Oh yeah, what part?" I'm like, some part of me was going like, "Hey, how dare you question me? I have a ticket or a key." Another part of me is like, "Oh wow, I'm so important. I have security on my floor. This is pretty dope." But it's cool to be in Fantasyland for a couple of days, just to be there to work, there to bring the best out of talent and are interviewing them. And we've got some good feedback. A lot of individuals have stepped up and pulled us aside and said, "Hey, look, your show, MacMania, your network, The Ringer, really brings something fresh and different for our shows when talking with talent." That's what you want to do. You want to go out there, you want to network and get the brand out there, and hopefully I can parlay that to other experiences with other events as well. So professionally, it was good. Humidity and me worrying about catching the virus aside, professionally it was good to be considered, and to be in the mix, and to be able to contribute on a big event. Some would say the third biggest night of the year. I think the company calls it the second biggest night of the year, but it's definitely my favorite night of the year in SummerSlam. That does it for me. I'm going to get ready for the MacMania podcast right now as I record this. You know the deal. Thank you so much for checking out. Leave a comment below. What's been your experience with traveling this summer? If you have, are you down? Are you comfortable? Are you down to live your life? Are you nervous? Are you somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you want. Like the video if you care. I whatever. I'll see you next week. I'll call my mom. I know she misses me. And you do it too if you partake. Catch you later.